All right.
Hi, good morning, everybody. We're here for the April 22nd policy meeting. RG Leary is here for me. Michaela Michaels, student board member of our Owens will be here momentarily. Now we're going to start with some information that has been brought back with the student body regarding about the class policies. So with that, I'll turn it over.
Okay, yeah, so we asked the students to answer like some questions about the valedictory class. We just had, do you think it's valuable to recognize a valedictorian and salutatorian? And do you think it's valuable to recognize a valedictory class? And then we had them respond if they had any preferences of what to change in regards to the valedictory class.
What was your response rate?
We had like 156 this time, so definitely less than my grading policy one, but the percentages between these two are different, but they're similar, so it helps. So the first one, valuable to recognize a valedictorian, salutatorian, 86 or 84.6% said yes, to 15% said no. And then the next question,
Okay, I'm gonna ask one more quick question.
Yeah.
That was grades 9 through 12,
yes,
so about 50% of the student population.
yes.
That's okay. That's good. I just wanted to make sure we did the sample size.
We're just starting with the
Oh.
feedback on the valedictory.
Oh,
It's very first slide.
Yes, and then the next one was valuable to recognize a valedictory class. Similar percentages of 82.7% to 17.3%. And so for what they shared, we had people wanted level of difficulty needs to be taken into effect. So they just said that they should weigh APs or even honors as well. And for some like explanations that it's not fair to students who take the harder classes and get just a slightly lower grade than those who take the quote bare minimum and score higher. They think that taking harder classes should be rewarded. They also said that make stricter requirements to get in, like increasing number of APs and honors. And also they could make a volunteering requirement or a club sport participation requirement. And there are also some ideas that to include like a student's character or having leadership or impacting clubs and sports. Some students said that it could either be included into this policy or it could be even made into like a separate policy just to get that recognition. So yeah, that was it.
Where do you think the arts fall into this? And I don't want you to read anyone's mind because you don't know, but you know, for example, those students were very committed to the arts and they really, be it visual or musical, and they really max out what it is that they can take in those courses. Was that specifically asked, or do you have a sense of how the student body might view that?
Yeah, there wasn't, I don't think anyone mentioned that, but I do think that could be a similar thing to like the student's character or leadership in sports, either
Okay.
being something or that could be added.
Okay.
'Cause I think, yeah, like certain students definitely maybe have like more of a focus in either arts or
Mhm.
sports or things like that. So they want just to be recognized for that.
Now, I think you bring up a good point,
Yes, yeah.
is that the more core components we put into this as AP and honors, and the more restricted you put in those higher level classes for valedictory class, the kids who do the arts pathways may not take AP honors because they're going to do it into that. We don't have an AP arts course.
Right, and I just don't know if that,
It may or may not.
there may be other, and I don't want to elevate or, it just, that's what immediately comes to mind. There may be other categories, but I don't, one thing I want to avoid is to have a policy that almost categorically excludes someone from honors because they're, like I was, every waking moment when I could, that, I was probably there for the wrong reasons, but a lot of people were there for the right reasons to practice hard and to do their best. But it's just a thought right now. Okay. Anything else? Otherwise, this certainly I would like Did we get a copy of this?
Oh, yeah,
Okay, great.
yeah.
Um,
I'm sure everyone will be. I just wanted to make sure that Michaela, since Michaela and Ellie were the ones that put together, they should be the ones that share the information.
Yeah. That's helpful.
okay, well, if anything else certainly comes up, you know where to find us, if you hear anything.
Yeah.
Um, obviously, okay, great.
Can I ask, in terms of the feeling about weighting grades, like, was that prevalent or did that come from like a handful of people?
No, it was pretty prevalent in the people that put a response. Yeah. Some just said like just weigh APs and some said weigh APs and like elaborate more of like why, but yeah. It's like-
And the idea of weighing the EPs, was it because they wanted that separation a little bit? Is that what was, so that recognition component, like, even if it's not weighing, they still wanted to see that added into like the valedictorian or salutatorian component of it, or into the valedictory class component.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think there's two different things there. Weighing it for the valedictorian and then the valedictorian class. So I think we just need to separate those two, because I think those need to be looked at as well as in the policy. If you're going to separate the two. So. Awesome.
Okay, great.
Thank
All right,
Thank you so much.
so much.
More than welcome to stay, or I don't know.
I know she had, I know
I'll
that,
just wait till the end.
yeah, but I know that you have a task thing that you have to get into.
Uh,
Do you want to do your resolution next, or do you want to do the grading regulation? Might be quicker for the resolution.
okay, why don't we?
Yeah, go on. So,
All right, so for the viewers at home, so what this is where we are as most school districts are. A member of the New York State School Boards Association, one component of that membership is that NISBA takes positions on certain issues year to year to focus on and to try to lobby state government and also sometimes federal government in order to enact changes and all that. I think would be helpful to education at schools and important. Part of that process, each school board has the opportunity, if they so wish, to propose resolutions, which if passed, then serve as NISBA membership's directive to NISBA, the organization, to lobby or focus on a particular issue. As mentioned during the last board meeting, it was discussed that we suggested that we might be interested in proposing a resolution of our own, focusing on the issue of health insurance costs for school districts and how that factors into budgeting, various aspects of budgeting. And so that being said, I took a crack at this first draft. I guess all I'll say about it is everybody has a different writing style. I found a few minutes to do it and threw it together. You know, I sometimes can, with too much time can be an enemy for me when it comes to write, because I don't thinking things and whatnot. So, but then again, there's my thing that I didn't really not, which I'm more than happy to take that criticism. So, what I just brought this back for to start the discussion, and I suspect that the plan from here is once we have something, assuming that we as a committee are in favor of advancing something out of the full board, then we would do that probably for next meeting. So just open it up to any comments, questions, just the edits, rewrites.
I like it. I think you did a really good job on it. Like,
Thank you.
I think it covers everything we discussed in the board meeting in terms of like not like mandating a solution, but requiring NISBA to advocate and talk to policymakers, lawmakers, and figure out a solution. Or options, right, that can help districts manage these costs, so I think it accomplishes what we want
Okay.
to put in front of them.
Yeah, you know, and as the process goes, you know, if we try to get people to sign on, then maybe other school boards, they may want to make some suggested changes, and even when it gets to the annual meeting, because ultimately, this is going to be considered by delegates at this annual meeting, which takes place in about October, and so there, you know, certainly may be requests to amend it at that time as well, but, okay. Robert?
I also like it. I especially was really fond of your last sentence, I believe. Therefore, NISBA should strongly advocate. I thought that really encapsulated it quite well.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I made sure to follow their templates and whatnot, and they suggested language that, you know, I'm new to this, and I know that they have their own, you know, preferences, and I know that one of them is we don't like resolutions that touch on things that we already have resolutions on, which, you know, we made it a point to mention the health insurance reserve fund, which is nice. That's great. I just don't think it's broad enough. I think that when you're focusing solely on a reserve fund, to me, that's kind of a catch-22. Part of this issue is a lack of funds. So what does a
Yeah.
reserve fund do you if you
Yeah,
don't money?
and how do you access reserve funds? Like, it just sets up a bunch of
All right.
roadblocks that are not sustainable.
Okay.
Like,
Right?
Totally up to the board on this one, right? This is board resolution. I would say I think it looks really good. And, you know, I think one of the key points is for NISBA to understand, I think you hitting the reserve fund is important, is because, yes, we can, you know, yes, it impacts our tax levy. Yes, it does all those things, but we still have to provide for our students. So if we increase tax levy or we have to put reserve funds, we're taking money from somewhere to still offset that cost for insurance. So I thought you did a nice job on that.
Well, let me ask you this also. I just want, I mean, for people at home and whatnot, I just want to make it clear that this is the health insurance and it's all employees in the district, regardless of whether or not they're not.
Every single point.
And they typically are, well, maybe they're all on the same plan. Different.
They're all part of the plans that we offer.
Okay, so are we all in agreement that we can put this on the budget, the agenda for the next full meeting for full board session? You want to do that?
yeah, and, I would say probably circulate it sooner, just
Yeah.
so if anybody's got feedback, we can incorporate it.
Is it okay if when I get back today, I'll go ahead and send it around? Okay, awesome. Okay, that was not as painful as it.
You take.
Do you want on for a first read or on for discussion?
I think on for discussion, because I think that we have to get these in sooner rather than later. So I think that the hope is that we can have something coming out of the May meeting. That we can maybe shop around. Okay. So let's move on to.
So as far as that process though,
Yeah.
of shopping it, like, do we want to submit it first and then shop it, or shop it first?
I'm going to talk to Rachel about how the process works. I actually don't know. I mean, I think we would shop it after, because if our board needs to be 100. I see your point,
Right, like,
but
I think we could do it either way. I think my preference would be to get it in and then let people know that we submitted it and that we would like their support.
Right, and I think that if part of the discussion next time can be, whoever the representative is gonna be at the, I don't know how the open meetings law would interact with this, but in terms of if in the course of shopping it, you know, people say, well, we'd really like to see this change, and if the change doesn't seem to be too significant, you know, maybe it's, I don't know, board, maybe the president has discretion to make that language change in the resolution. I don't know the answer.
Yeah, I'm not
Get
sure.
discussion. Right. But I'll raise that with her. I'll talk to her. Okay.
Right, grading regulation. So what you have in front of you is a working copy of the grading regulation, which you all have access to as well. This has been shipped around to all over the district, building leadership teams, shift faculty meetings. The most recent middle school, yesterday, middle school and high school building leadership teams. That's with parents, staff members, stakeholders, students. That they gave input on their components and feelings of it for the secondary aspect of it, which you have in front of you. I have it written so we can cut and paste and I can add things and take away from it. So that is their input. I have not looked at it. You know, they had different perspectives that all brought to the table, so that's why we kind of did it this way. What you have here in front of you is the grading regulation that I did. We've made changes based off of the building leadership team, the district leadership team, parent group communications, so on and so forth. Any changes that after I gave it to you that I was looking at changing, I made as suggested edits. So that way everybody who had access to it could see the recommendations that I was making and could give input on that as well. So far, this first top has been, no one's really said much about this. This is just the overview kind of idea behind it. Homework and misassignments. Let's see. I had a suggestion.
Can I interrupt and ask a question? So this first of all, I just wanted to mention that finishing touches. Is that the numbering? Yeah, the Roman, the outline numbering. So there's that, but this first section of introduction, that applies to system-wide.
System-wide K-12 throughout the district. Yep. Yeah, this is all systems grades K through 12. So the recommendation I made was to replace all students are expected to engage meaningfully in assigned learning activities, including homework. Homework and class assignments are intended to reinforce learning opportunities for practice. I don't know where I said I was going to replace that. No one's really made comment on like that. Everybody fine with that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, no one said anything either when they were reviewing it, so. All right. Moving on. The MTSS, we figured we should just really cut that down nice and short. We have a plan for it. It really, my thought process is we already have it somewhere else. It doesn't need to be in the grading regulation. So there was redundancy and taking up too much space. So I said, just get rid of it all. So that made sense.
Yes.
Perfect. Again, this is housekeeping stuff really that my changes are. All right, and that was it. Elementary school grading practices. They've looked at it. Really, Jeff has said that it aligns with everything that they've done, so they don't really have any changes.
And that, for example, is like elementary. I'm assuming that's supposed to be
K through 5.
Roman numeral.
So I want to be very, very clear.
We've done no cleanup and formatting. So,
Then I'll
Yeah,
shut
that-
up. I'll shut up.
yeah, no, so we've only focused on content right now. No one's taken any time to do formatting or like making an index or, nothing like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I figured that's like icing on the cake at this point. Sure. If we get to that point. But you're right, there's no Roman numerals or
Yeah.
changes or do with that. This is that. Again, nothing really has changed from the one that I've given you in the very beginning. Homework expectations. Again, just a small change. But no one has said anything on that. Is everybody okay with that?
Yep.
And that's why I wrote to him, Jeff, this information removal will work better in your handbook or individual grade level. He agreed, but again, we left it all here for transparency purposes.
Mhm.
So I don't want anyone to say like I'm making changes without,
Mhm.
you all knowing and everyone seeing it. Thought this is the best way to do it. So again, guiding principle aspect of it, support interventions. This is all current practice and items that are happening. All right, so now secondary schools. I had changes, they have recommendation changes. You have the recommended changes in front of you. So I figured this is the one that we'll probably spend a little bit more time on because this is where everybody really went into a lot more detail. So here in the front end of it, really is just cleanups again, streamlining, taking away some of the redundancies. That's what I put in here. This has been here for a while, so if everyone's okay with me just shortening that up.
Yes.
And then now we get into staff grading policy. So we took a bunch of general guidelines out because it was in the policy. So I have not looked and seen the cross comparisons yet. Just very, very quickly this morning, I looked at like 2 quick things and that was it. So secondary school general guidelines, it's there. Written grading policy.
I don't see that, if this is the update, I didn't see just go back one.
They only gave,
They just gave this part.
that's
Okay,
all they
right.
gave, yeah.
Never mind.
Yep.
The general guidelines, I just didn't see that part.
Yeah, they didn't give that part.
And
Okay.
so
That's fine.
this may or may not differ from what's
Correct.
on the screen.
Yeah, I think they cut and pasted and copied and then made updates as they were there. So I honestly have no idea if it's the same or not. So we have to go line by line. Sorry.
Okay, fair enough.
One is the same.
Perfect. Yeah, so I gotta be very honest, like again, I have not looked at it. So one's the same.
And can I ask questions?
Yep.
as we go?
Yeah, please,
Okay,
that's what
so
we're here for.
what
If you're asking.
What
what has changed.
policy is in effect now? Do teachers have to create a written grading policy?
So here's what I would rather say to you is that this is what we want to have done, and this is what everybody agrees to doing. Yes, they have to have a written grade. There's no policy that dictates it. It's been told to them, done, everybody has to do it, but then the submission of it as well. And I cannot tell you K-12, everything that's been done. So when you say what is currently happening,
It could be smart.
I can't give you a solid answer because I don't have all the details in front of me, nor have I done all the research on that.
Okay.
So I don't want to make generalization statements and then somebody go back, well, that's not true. Well, so that's why I'm saying like, this is where our vision is of what we want now, and stakeholder input and staff input have all agreed. Like,
Okay,
especially if
and
it
so-
hasn't changed.
And so and just to point out,
Yeah.
the input at this point has included rank and file for teachers.
Yeah. Yeah, the building leadership team has building reps on it.
Okay.
The district advisory
And they've
committee
had
has.
full opportunity to.
This has been out for months.
All of one is the same.
Yeah, and this, by the way, this is still first read, right? So even when we
Oh,
get to first
absolutely.
read,
Yep.
people can still make changes.
Yep.
So that's the beauty of how,
Exactly. Yep.
the way I tried to do it. That's why I've taken so long to get it back to you, because I really wanted to make sure that everybody had time.
Mhm.
So 2 is the same.
You choose the same.
Something.
3 is the same.
All right, yeah, this is what Lisa wrote here. BLT is reviewed and it has the following suggestions, so. That's what you have in front of you. 3 is the same?
At least the first part.
Okay.
No, I didn't check the bullets yet.
Yeah, and I know from talking to people and listening, they really like the expectation of the grading practices being developed collaboratively within departments and with grade level alignment. That is something that people have actually like, I've heard a thank you for that. So that was positive. I haven't seen, yeah, the bullet looks good.
Third bullet seems. I think they have some things on that.
Instead
of,
Yeah. there's
shall be
changes.
proportionally is. Shall be balanced.
Balanced.
That the final grade accurately reflects the student's achievement.
Okay, it's fine with that.
That's, I think it's just balanced.
Balanced. So that, if you guys are all right with that, I'm fine with it.
I'm okay.
So that the final grade.
What does balanced mean?
I have no idea.
Oh, I think you took a little too much off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go back here.
Yeah, I suppose balance does like suggest that each of them is of equal weight.
Well, that's
That's why
why
it almost seems it should be proportionally. Maybe.
I think I know where they were going.
That's what I-
You know, I think they were saying balance, meaning which one meet, you know, homework shouldn't be more than. Homework
Isn't
shouldn't
that,
be more than
like
that.
weighted, right? Like quizzes count for such.
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
Papers count for another percent.
And I think that's where I'm gonna assume that's what they mean by balanced.
Do you wanna maybe check in with Lisa on that?
So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna write a comment. I'm gonna add in balanced.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna write a comment for that in here saying. What does balance mean? Does this mean? So that way I can check with the team.
Weighted, like,
Yeah.
yeah, like proportionally weighted, or I
Right.
don't know what they mean by that.
Let me get rid of this. Yeah, I agree. I don't know what you mean, but we can't make an assumption. either.
Yeah.
Let me make that. So I made the change. Let me go back down to where that change was. You guys can keep going. My typing is not gonna be the best. And then what does this mean?
What is the link?
Weighted. Balance, everything else. 30 on each. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
and I think you just need to clean up the text a little bit. Shall be balanced so that the final grade.
Shall be balanced so that the, yeah, I see, I haven't finished that. Good?
Yep.
Okay. Grading scales?
It's a consolidation. It's like 1 and 2.
So, yeah,
This was something that Lisa worked hard on with the team, so.
so they broke this up. So final grade determination is now 1, so they must have broken out final assessments, regions.
So what they did was, and this was something Lisa was talking about a lot. We don't do a Regents exam, the reading exam was only 4%, but if someone gets a final, that can be weighted as 25%. There was an inequity there, so she really wanted to help address it. So I believe the year on doing it, the final grade is 4% of the locals. Like I think she equalized those, which made sense. It doesn't, and the 4% doesn't change the policy that the board had already with Regents exams being 4%. We continued that and just incorporated it.
Okay.
Does anyone have any issues with the way that they changed the grading scale?
No.
I think it looks better at first glance. So if everyone's good with it, I'm just gonna cut and paste that. And head it. If everyone's all right with that. The whole number one.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Boom. Look at that. Okay.
Good.
So my 2 was different than their 2. Oh yeah, because that was different.
Yeah, because they think
That's the old policy.
one
Okay.
and two were basically merged.
All right, I'm gonna get rid of our 2 then. That was actually the old policy. Did I give too much?
Wait a second.
Yeah.
I thought, go back to, where's 2 for them?
Oh, there it is. I messed up. 2 for them is passing grade and academic support. You're right.
Got it, okay.
There. Okay. Good.
Yes.
You wanna put that heading on number one, like they have final
Again?
grade determination, it doesn't, look like it just picks up at finals.
Oh my goodness gracious. Final grade determination. Good.
Perfect.
All right. What they say for the 65%? That's the same, right?
That's the same.
And that's the free.
What they say for
We changed 50% to 55%. For the first 2 quarters. Right, they changed a minimum of 50% will be given to all students for the first 2 quarters. For a full year course. Or first quarter for a semester long course. But this is not broken out by grade level.
well, because that's why there was different practices. So just to go over real quick, the practice used to be for middle school. Minimum 55% will be given for all students for the first 3 quarters in order to promote student academic success. Half your courses, 55% will be for the first quarter. And enough would be denoted on the report card for the true grade if below is at 55%. So that was what middle school used to do. This changes that completely. It actually makes it more rigorous in comparison to that. So they're changing that. They want to recommend a change to that practice. And then the high school, 50, grade below 50, this will only be afforded to students with at least 75% scheduled classes. So that is what the current course
So it looks
is.
like they're making middle school uniform.
High school, how long is full year course? For the first, yeah, so first 2 quarters. So yeah, they're trying to make it uniform between high school and middle school. That's what it looks like.
I know we've talked about this before, like, I'm not so sure I agree with a 50% grade. It makes it almost impossible to pass if you turn it around. Like, grade is 65, right?
Yep.
So you'd have to get an A, like a B, to go from an F to a B for the rest of the year
Right.
to pass.
Most schools do a minimum 50. There's like a 45 in there sometimes, but most schools, it's minimum 50. You usually don't see below that, like, or like a 55 or a 60.
I don't know. I mean, if a kid has an F like in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Like, should we be giving them like all kinds of extra?
Oh, they get all
supports?
that. So that's all part of the program, right? So they're getting their supports, they're getting homework club, they're getting all those components. And they're watching those 50s. And so they move. And if you look at the practices currently, that 50 has worked, right? And typically when a kid gets a 50, if that's the bare minimum 50, it's actually they were earning a 25 or a 10 or a 15 or a 30. Like it was a very, very low. I am supportive of the 50. I think the 50 is a fair grade and you can make around it, but there also has to be that strong academic support, right? You just can't let kids get 50s and not do anything about it. There's got to be the homework supports, there got to be the substantial fall off, the communication to the families. Like I think that's built into this policy as well and regulation. So yes, there's a 50, but it doesn't mean that we're just giving the kid 50. We're doing the other things to support that child and make sure that they're moving forward. My concern is with the middle school component of it, is it's a drastic shift. Because you were doing 55s for 3 quarters and now we're doing 50s 2 quarters. You know, what do they have in place to make sure that that 3rd quarter then gets increased? Thoughts?
I guess like, why was it like statistically like important to go from like just the 5% from 55 to 50?
That was because I think what happened, respectfully, after looking into this, the 55 was something that was decided in isolation or maybe not as a group. The 50 has been written curriculum, the guidebook for years, right? That's been something that I think they worked on as part of a group, as a team. That 55, not everybody even knew, and it wasn't even written. It was in an email that was down, and that was like a more an auditory kind of statement that's been shared. So that one I had to find a little bit more. The 50 though for the high school with what it is, that's been codified in the curriculum guide for many years.
Okay. Is the 50 for first 2 quarters, is that in the curriculum guide?
And we have the right, we can make it 55 for middle school. And I doesn't see where you're going.
Yeah, I mean, I just think for a kid who turns it around, it's still hard to pass. Right, like,
Yeah, but I've seen it work multiple times. I had it in another district I work with. It's always been 50s. Like I will say, like I've seen it. The 50s do work. You do get the student to pass. But
yeah, I
see
don't,
both
I
ways.
just, I mean,
Thoughts of the board?
I don't. I mean, if this is how it's been, like. I
So it's been
mean,
for high school.
pretty good graduation rates. Like,
And you're saying 50 is been in the curriculum, right?
Yes,
what happens if an eighth grader fails?
socially promoted. They're promoted.
So we get to ninth grade.
Yeah.
And then.
The AIS supports and lots of different things. So, but they also have an opportunity to do summer school too, or summer supports, transition classes, things like that. But yeah, just because you fail a course doesn't mean you automatically fail.
So the supports are in place. It's not about.
Yeah.
Um,
Just because you fail, like, let's say you fail math, right? And you get a 50. It doesn't mean that you're going to stay in eighth grade, right? It doesn't work that way. It's like elementary school. The conversation comes up about the supports, and then where do they go in high school? What program do you put them into? And then how do you help support that child? You're not going to put a child who failed math in eighth grade, you're not going to put them in an Algebra 1 course where they sit for
Right,
regions
no,
their first year, right?
I get that.
You're going to put them in a 2-year stretch course. You're going to give them AIS. You're going to give them, you're going to make sure that they're targeted. You're doing an MPSS on them. You're going to give them tier 2 interventions. You have attendance issues. Like, then there's all those level of supports for those kids, right? That come down to that, to make sure that, because when you get them into ninth grade, they have to find success, or they have to be able to make up that lost ground in order to be able to continue to be successful. We've had students that have not done well, grade 8, grade 9, move into grade 10, and now are earning credits, going to CTE, like sometimes, not every kid takes the same path. They take different supports or different interventions to get them. And some of those kids, I will say, maybe you won't be a 4-year graduation, maybe they'll be a 5. Sometimes some kids need 5 years to get there.
Okay.
Even though that hurts your graduation rate in the long run. Just because if you make errors and make changes, you still grow, because they're still developing for the change.
Well, I think the important thing is that it addresses the needs and the interventions that would be necessary. And we're talking about like a very small group of
Yeah.
people that would need.
But let's make sure those interventions are in here, right? I think that's
I
the
think that's
component.
important
Let's make
as
sure
well.
that we are very clear that it doesn't do that. So are we okay with using what they have for both buildings?
Yeah, I think if the 55% was in an email and everybody didn't know about it, like, we need to correct that.
Yeah, it was like this is what we think we do, this is what we do.
Yeah, that's.
It took me a while to find it, let's put it that way. That shouldn't have been in my mind. So. That was something that I asked, that was just something that I put in there for them to consider as they were doing it. Daily instructional attendance, everybody's fine with that. It makes me a little nervous with the attendance component.
The 75%.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it needs to like take into account equity and things,
right.
right? Like,
I think
Does the teacher discretion component address?
but then the teacher discretion component will be differences, right? I'm old school. I think if you're not here and I don't, then it is what it is. And you're like, no, I understand they have family issues. And you and I are arguing over Barbara because I know Barbara's dealing with issues outside of school. So, you're going to be more lenient. I'm going to be like, no, it doesn't matter. I mean, in life, people have to do what they have to. Like, I'm giving you devil's advocate. I'm not saying I believe this happens or not. But that's what teacher discretion does, right? It creates your own biases to be put into the situation. So that makes me nervous.
How do you address that though without inserting some sort of discretion to be enunciated specific?
I think you have to look at the attendance component. Are you okay with the attendance component? Somebody saying you missed 75%, you're not entitled to the 50.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, is there any way to have the 75%, but is it yes or no, or is there any way that you can have it?
The minute you put teacher discretion, you put that.
Well,
I mean, here's my take, like, teachers are not responsible for attendance.
Right.
Like, if a kid's not getting to school, like,
That's what we
That
have
is-
attendance issues for.
that is the school's problem.
Yeah.
Right, to figure out, like, I don't think that should be factored into, like, it's gonna impact your grade if you're not in school.
Right.
But I don't think we should leave it up to a teacher's discretion to decide whether somebody gets the 50 or not because they're not in class. Like that, I just think that's a different part of the school's problem to address.
So you think the attendance minimum should come out?
I do.
My opinion, it's not the most popular opinion. I don't think it should be there. I took it out of another district I was in. I don't think, because if a kid's not gonna be there, they're gonna get the 50, right? First and second quarter. They're not doing the work, they're not changing. Okay, they get that 50. We work on attendance, we help them, we try to get them through it. Third quarter comes, their attendance hasn't changed. They're now getting the 20s and the 10s, right? We've done all of our interventions. So there's still going to be outcomes and accountability. You're just giving an opportunity for the district or other, the school itself to be able to work on the system.
It seems like a factor that really should not be integrated into this policy. It's as it's separate.
A lot of schools take away the attendance factor of grading. I'm
I'm in favor of the amendment.
Would agree.
again, just because they're absent doesn't mean they're not getting that 50 and they don't have to do the work.
No.
Third and fourth quarter, they're going to.
And some kids can be absent
Well,
and
And still get
show
working.
up and get an A.
And some people don't like that, right? Some people understand that, some people don't.
Yeah, I mean, it goes. both ways.
Yeah.
I don't think teachers are responsible for attendance.
Agreed. All right, next part, homework. Did they change anything on this?
in class. Yeah,
Looks like it's changed.
Okay. I need to do this stuff. I had a recommendation rate. Homework, secondary course to be established by the teacher and communicator. So I may have changed it myself. Here's what they wrote. But I have no problem with that. That's what they wrote.
Yeah, I would combine the two, so like homework and classwork as the heading, I think makes sense, but
Mhm.
then they have it followed by a colon. Are determined. I would maybe say, you scroll up a tiny bit more.
Can I just delete this part that I had in there already?
Oh, sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Just make my life a little bit easier.
I would keep your first part, homework expectations in secondary courses are determined by the individual teacher.
Like that?
Yeah, and change the, after 5 or whatever number it is, do homework and classwork. although they don't really, yeah, exactly. That's what I
It's like,
Yeah, but they wanted that, you know,
It's work they started in class.
that sometimes happens.
Comes homework.
That does happen, right?
That's
Like
good.
if a student was in a classwork and they were doing a project in class and they were doing it, but it's important for the student to do it, it becomes homework. I agree with that. Are we okay with that then?
I think so, yes.
Okay, good. I like that they're doing all of our work for us.
Not have an end of year reporting.
That means they like what I had.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, and don't forget your little error there, dividing.
But you know what? Let me make a comment
Oh, boy.
here just to make sure that this is accurate and correct. This practice we do and will continue. I just, I don't want to assume that they didn't have an issue with it. Okay,
They do not have that first paragraph, so maybe they agree.
then let's get rid of it. I think you're right, man. Nice. And the reading things to me. Good, okay. So substantial follow-up. This is the one I looked at quickly. They took out a decline of 10% or more in a class average. So I called Lisa. I wanted to understand that before we went in because I think that 10% or more, and I've seen that in other ones, is important, right? Because people are like, what is it, right? And this gives you what substantial follow-up is. Some parents, this came from parents that were on the committee. That the 3-week report card sometimes doesn't always have enough in it, so then it's there. And then the 6-week report is different, so that 10 or more. My thought process is that this decline 10 or more is also what happens in the middle of that, right? I've heard those complaints from parents that 5-week mark is like, at 6 weeks, I'm finding out my kid has a 40, or they have a 60 and they had an 80 at the 3-week mark. All of a sudden now I'm surprised. I don't understand what happened. They're looking for that communication, that mid 3 to 6 week. So, and I'm sure, like I see the shaking of your head because I'm sure you've heard that same complaint.
I've had that complaint. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. I think like a bright line test here makes sense. Like the other things, like a failing or near failing average, right? Like that's mathematical.
Yeah.
Should definitely trigger communication. Pattern of missing or incomplete major assignments, assessments, or projects, kind of subjective,
Mhm.
right? Like,
Right. That's why I
Like,
want
what's
to
a
decline
pattern?
10%,
but I think having a bright line, like your kid's grade, like drops dramatically, like sending an email to a parent, like,
Yeah.
what's the harm,
That's,
right? Like,
and if there's a pattern of missing or incomplete major assignments or assessments, you should have a decline of 10 points or more, right?
you should, yeah, but sometimes like the grades don't always
Yeah.
get posted quickly enough, and a couple weeks go by, and then it's like, oh,
And the other component of
what
this
happened?
is, and I will say is, yes, it's the parent's responsibility to look at that 3-week grade update. Yes, it's the parent's responsibility to log in to that 6-week. Yes, parents have a responsibility, but we should also be a partner in that communication as well.
Yeah, and I mean, if teachers are going to be like putting grades in the grade book, uh, at some required frequency, that would help,
They have
because
to.
there are times where I've looked in a grade book, it shows the assignment is missing, and a child tells me that they've turned it in and the teacher hasn't updated.
Yeah.
So,
And sometimes it's true, and sometimes it's not.
exactly, but if there's nothing to trigger.
Yeah.
Like, I can ask the teacher, but I don't wanna like, do that every time.
But that has been part of the conversation, is making sure that everybody supports that. If this is the agreed time, then this is the agreed time. That has been something I know that has been addressed and discussed. I personally like the decline to 10. I don't think we should remove it.
No, I think the 10% should be in there. I think it's a bright line test where it's like just check in. Maybe there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
But if there is, like, get ahead of it.
Up until parents and students have ongoing access, I think that's the only change.
Yeah. That's good. So that's wrong. I don't agree with that. Sorry. Their bullet of real-time grade information available through the parent portal.
Yeah, that's.
Well, it is, right? They took away, report cards issued every 2. Oh, they flipped the time frame? Is that what they did? Real-time grade information to the parent portal, teachers, particularly in those comments, will pick up the grade books on a 3-week period. We flipped it. Parents and students have ongoing access. You see that, Matt?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, there's nothing else that changed, right?
That's what I was making my way through. I really would think.
I think they just tried to make it
Yeah.
chronological.
Yeah,
Which
okay.
makes sense.
Let's do that then. So there's what you're talking about.
And we can.
So it's
What are you
not real
thinking?
time. I mean,
It's not real time, that's my point.
Yeah.
It's, if it's 3 weeks and 6 weeks, it's 3 weeks and 6 weeks. I don't want people to think that they're gonna log in every 2 weeks and it's gonna be real, if that's the,
yeah,
you
well,
know?
that's what it says.
That's exactly why I said that's not right,
Yeah,
right? And that was me, I wrote real time in the beginning,
Mhm.
so can we fix that? We should make it be what it actually is. Teachers will. Right? Will update grade books on a 3-week rotation to maintain accurate records. Does that work? Take out real time,
Mhm.
and we'll say, grade information will be available through the parent portal on a 3-week rotation per sport. Does that make more sense?
Mm-hmm.
Teachers, and I'm not gonna say particularly in middle school and high school because this is secondary, will update grade books on a 3-week rotation to maintain accurate records and current records.
Mhm.
Is that better,
It seems much better. It's much clearer.
RG?
How about like, we'll update grade books, like as frequently as possible, but at a minimum, but minimally on a 3-week rotation, right? Like don't hold the grades until,
You're right.
right?
That's a good point.
So it's not changing the practice, it's not changing what their current work is.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
most teachers are entering grades.
Well, I just don't want
these days.
someone to say that it's
Contractual, no, I know, I hear you.
changing work. I don't know the word, Matt, but
Terms and conditions.
thank you. That's where I was going. I just couldn't think of the words. I just don't want someone thinking over changing the terms and conditions. But you're right. Best practices and professional responsibility to say, do it before the 3 weeks are up. So you
Yeah,
know,
like don't wait until 3
Yeah.
weeks to enter all your grades. I think the teachers are, from what
They
I
are.
see, they're putting in grades as they're available.
so this now reads, parents will see grade information and it'll be available on a parent portal on a 3-week rotation per quarter. Well, it's always there, right? But
Yeah. Can you hyphenate 3-week, the first 3 weeks?
yeah, but I think what we're trying to say is they'll get a report or an updated status of the child's grade every 3 weeks. A current status, I know where they're going with real time, but it's
Right.
not real time,
It's
right?
not, no.
Every 3 weeks, they'll see where their child currently is.
You think about as frequently as possible, but at a minimum.
Yeah, I agree.
You do that under this.
Yep.
Every 3 weeks before student's current academic progress will be available through the parent portal. Parent portal. This will contain the most recent grading. I don't know, I wanna say something like, cause that 3 weeks is a pain, right? Cause it's going to only have the assignments that are graded up to that 3 weeks. So if there's only 1 or 2 assignments, the kid's grade may be lower. It might be a good way to kind of preface it, you know what I'm getting at? This will contain,
Available grades?
yeah,
Or recorded grades?
recorded grades of work completed / assigned during that time frame. I can tweak it afterwards.
Yep.
But does that make a little bit more sense?
Yeah.
I think we need to clean that up because that can be a sticking point for a lot of people. I'm gonna make a note to make sure. Okay,
Like, can you say, report cards are issued?
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lisa said that this was a conversation. And this is new. The comment section. Is there changes on here? She was mentioning that to me quickly. Yeah,
It's on report cards, there'll be a comment section.
it looks like they added a couple things to that.
Teachers will use this. Specific, yes. It is. Also, it's included for that one too.
So this is different than how the report cards currently look. What they have here,
Yep.
will appear in a separately marked column for each marking period. That makes me think that there's a comments column for first quarter, comments column for second quarter.
There is. Isn't there?
No, it just appears under the first name.
Oh, so I think when you do it though, they have to do it for each quarter.
Yeah, but it doesn't show cumulatively, like you have to go into each
Yeah, I think.
quarter's report card to see the comments.
Yeah, you're fixing it, Lisa.
You know what I mean?
My
Like,
OCD is kind of.
so by the time you get to the fourth quarter final report card, you're only seeing comments from the fourth quarter.
Right.
So is that what they mean?
Yeah, because I think you see the first quarter, you see first quarter comments, second quarter comments,
Right.
third quarter.
But it
third quarter
doesn't,
comments.
it doesn't follow the entire report card for the year.
If you printed a detailed report card, would it?
I don't know. But I think you're only seeing, you know what I'm saying? Like, if the comments are supposed to be part of the report card, they fall off.
Okay, I see what you're
For,
saying.
for parents, if it's a second quarter report card, we only see quotes.
You only,
second quarter remarks.
exactly.
But if you go back to the first quarter, can you go back to the first quarter? Would it show it?
It will,
Right, that's what it,
Uh,
and
but
if
it
you,
won't show, but you have to But you know what I'm saying? By the
Yeah.
time you get to the final report card, which has all of the quarter
It,
grades.
it
and the
doesn't
final
show that,
grade,
okay.
You lose all those comments from all the quarters. I'm just trying to figure out, is that what they're saying?
I don't know. I put in here what they said because I like the idea of making sure that they are clear on their comments. I thought that was good. But let me make sure I capture your comment.
So, assuming this is meant to address the Johnny's question I had.
Right, I think that's exactly where they were going.
Which I'm not even quite sure that I believe it when I write that, I'm not, never mind.
I say the same thing.
This is recorded, I've gotta watch what I say. And it's like when people say, like,
Before it's over, feel like
your
it's either-
your child is so well behaved and public, okay? Guess that's a win.
Maybe.
Yeah. So,
So it only defaults to the fourth quarter?
yeah, when you pull up the final report card.
Yeah.
I don't even know if the final report card has the comments.
Right. It might just be the way that they push buttons on, and I'm not saying
Yeah.
that in the district, the way that the report card and the viewing is set up.
Yeah, I'm not sure of like the mechanics of it.
Yeah. But you're thinking it should show, the first quarter report card should actually show that as well, right? Like if you go to an elementary school, first quarter report card has exactly
Has
what
all
it
the
was. Yeah.
comments, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure, like, I guess it's more of a question, like, is it an important piece of the student's record? Like, are the comments important?
Okay,
Right, like, and I will say, a lot of times it's is a pleasure to have in class, like,
Right.
it's the same, like,
Right.
thing over and over, like, it's
Double pleasure.
not all that informative.
Still is.
well, I'm wondering too, like if you do a detailed run of the report card, like if the school were to hit report detail, would it come up?
Yeah, I don't know.
So I wrote that, so good, okay, but you were fine with the changing?
I think so,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I
have a
think the only,
9:30 that I have to do.
Yeah, I
just
would
so-
say
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like realizing,
9:15 is
okay.
In that section though, they've got two wills, we just need to figure out which part,
what's
where
that?
we're gonna put the verb. On report cards, there will be a comment section, they're in this. If you can see, there's just an extra will appear or will, we just need to figure out where the verb is going.
Oh, okay. Just tell me. Did they change this at all? I wish they told me what they changed.
Yeah.
I think I would just delete the will appear.
Okay. Yeah, you're right, separately. I wish they told me to change, that would make life a lot easier.
It does not.
No. Doesn't look like medical's changed. I can look at
Yeah.
these, I mean, these are pretty perfunctory things.
Yeah, I mean, are we okay with allowing Frank to?
I appreciate you.
Sorry. Just,
I mean, I'm looking very quickly, it does not look like this has changed much. Well, why don't you all go through it up until the board meeting, can we put it on for first read?
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what.
Perfect.
is mine.
Yeah, because that way, I mean, even if we have errors,
Yeah, it can get fixed there.
it get fixed, but I think it's good to get out there. And I think it shows the stakeholders and the people who took the time to do it. We really listened, like, there's a lot of changes that they asked for that to put in. So,
And so May 6th I have for our next meeting.
oh.
So with that said, I think we're good for today.
Yeah.
And,